What's up, guys and gals, dudes, dudettes? You know the drill. Hope everybody's doing all right this morning. This again is your another weekly video episode, webisode, Facebook episode, YouTube episode, any other sold you can think of. It's your sold, okay? Uh, Hope everybody's doing all right this morning as you're watching this. Hope life's treating you kind. Last week I talked about, do all lives matter? And as I've thought about that this week, I thought maybe we should go in the direction of what Jesus did during his time on this earth. You know, now you got to understand, back in his time, they had the Mosaic Law, which was like over 600 laws telling them what they could and could not do, what they could and could not eat, and, you know, just daily life things. And when Jesus stepped into the picture, he shook their whole foundation of that law up. You know, with everything going on, with all this craziness, with the riots and the protests and all that stuff, and I got to thinking about, of course, the old thing that went around back in the 90s, what would Jesus do? And I got to thinking about that today because, Jesus crossed so many barriers with his laws. And I wanted to start today because I think I'm going to stay on this for a few weeks because I just wanted to look at what Jesus did. And, we're having trouble reaching out and talking to others about what's going on. And not just friends and family, people of different races. It's turning into a skin color versus skin color thing. And I started reading last night. I looked up Jesus healed the leper, healed a man of leprosy. The funny thing is back in those days, back in the Bible times when you had leprosy, you weren't allowed to be around each other. If you were considered a leper, you were cut off from society. You couldn't go to social gatherings. You couldn't go to church or to the store. And if you were out in the town and people were walking by, you were supposed to yell, "Unclean, unclean," so they wouldn't get near you. And I thought about last night how I read that Jesus reached out and touched this man to heal him. Now you have to understand, as a leper, nobody could touch you. You were cut off from everything. And, when Jesus touched that man and healed him, that's the first time he'd been touched in however long. And I often wonder how that man felt, being cut off from family, friends, everything, and wasn't allowed to be hugged, wasn't allowed to be just handshake or whatever. And when Jesus saw him, he reached out and he touched him and healed him. That man had to feel love like he's never felt love before. Today, we're doing the same thing. We're walking around and it's black versus white. This one versus this one. We're almost treating each other like a leper. Why don't we reach out and touch that brother or sister from another color and say, "Hey man, I'm here for you. As a friend, as a brother in Christ, I love you. Let's talk this out and let's get this over with." Because not every black person is bad. Not every white person is bad. Not every Hispanic person or Oriental person. They're not. But as the old saying goes, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. And we got to stop these memes and stuff on Facebook back and forth about blacks and whites. I'm going to tell you something. I've seen a lot of things over the last week on Facebook from people that call themselves Christians and stuff that shouldn't be posted out there. And you folks got to stop it. We got to reach out to these other people. We're not going to agree on everything. We as white people don't understand what it's like to be discriminated against. You know, we don't know what it's like to be treated as an outcast. And there's other things. I don't want to get into this because it's going to turn into a debate, and I don't want that. This is not used as a weapon. This is used to make us better. But we've got to stop. You know, like Jesus did, we've got to reach out and touch other people and show them that we love them and start healing people from the inside out. But that's what's on my mind. Next week I'm going to come back with something else. Hope y'all have a good one. I'll holler at you next week.